it naturally uses the organic human component. You've got two processors that are capable of, 100 trillion calculations per second at both ends. Why not use them? Yeah. Oh, well, Zphone has its own separate GUI from the VoIP client, and it displays in that GUI the short authentication string. So it is operating at the application level, but it's doing other stuff down below. But, if it's integrated into the VoIP client, then it's at the application level. I don't really see a problem with that. I mean, it's really designed to work at the application level. We just have it work at the lower layer with Zphone because it's a cool way to do it, I mean, the fact that we don't have to be in the VoIP client means that we can deploy today without having to wait for the VoIP client to put it in, which could take a long time because... Well, but IPsec doesn't do that now. And if you wanted to do it, you could do it. But remember, IPsec is not designed for human-to-human communication. It's designed for computer-to-computer communication between an FTP server and, some other computer. Yeah, but generally speaking, you're using IPsec to talk to a server that has no human. VoIP is something between two human beings. And that specifically is what I designed this protocol to address. That's what I mean by purpose-built. And that's why other protocols, rewarming over old protocols to try to make them work this way, you're just not going to have something as cool as this protocol. This protocol is specifically designed for two organic brains to talk to each other. Yeah, and right there. Could you talk a lot louder?
Sorry. I'm wondering if your API covers random number generation, skewing, and that sort of thing. And as somewhat related question, how your patent protection would actually apply to something like deliberate choosing of BP.
Well, if one side is not doing what they're supposed to do, then you're lost. Remember, okay, think about this. Remember when Monica Lewinsky was talking to Linda Tripp? Okay, do you think Monica Lewinsky would have been better off if she'd been using a military-grade secure telephone to talk to Linda Tripp? If Linda Tripp is not trustworthy, then all is lost. And so you've got to assume that both sides are going to try to generate good random numbers, because if they don't, then you can't, I mean, if the other guy, you can't trust him, you can't trust him. Well, I use a cryptographically strong random number generator that gathers, you give it some entropy from the environment. If it happens to be running on a Linux platform, it uses dev-urandom, but it can also sample microphone noise and mix that in to get good entropy. And you can download the source code and take a look at it if you'd like. Now, the SDK is just an SDK. It's not the VoIP client. And so it's up to the VoIP client to supply microphone noise. But even if it doesn't, if it's running on a Linux platform and it has a properly implemented dev-urandom, then it will get its entropy from that. But, we tell our customers, our OEM customers, that they're going to have to come up with some entropy somewhere to feed this. Once they give us some entropy, we don't care, even the entropy doesn't even have to be great entropy. As long as there's a couple hundred bits of it, we're going to be fine. Because we hash it, and then we run it through a cryptographically strong generator. We run AES in counter mode, supplying it with a key and a counter that was derived from a hash of possibly low-grade entropy, as long as there is enough entropy in it to get us started. I think that doing it the weak key way is not a good way to do it. If you were, I mean, then what's going to happen if you have widespread deployment of products that have weak random number generators, and some of those products are bought and used by judges and prosecutors who are wiretapped by organized crime, and their families attacked by hardened criminals who are violent people because they want to not go to jail. You know, I mean, we have to recognize that as we migrate from the PSTN to VoIP, we are going to have strong encryption. Now, you know, to weaken that by saying, okay, let's just use weak keys, I think is a bad way to do it. Because you're going to, not only are you're going to throw the baby out with the bathwater, you're going to damage society as a whole if you have people. Well, I think that eventually somebody would find out that these products are generating weak keys, and there would be a market response to that. Well, you know, there are test suites that you can use for testing random number sequences, but I find that it's usually not very useful because it's very tough to distinguish between good random numbers and bad random numbers if you're generating them with a cryptographic mechanism. You know, if I make the product myself, I can see to all that and make sure it works. But if I'm selling an SDK to other people, I don't know what the quality of the entropy is going to be. So, you know, if you worry about that, I'd recommend that you buy products from me. And I'll publish all of the source code, not just the SDK. Okay, I think that's about it.